I struggle every day, you want me to be honest? I go to bed crying, I wake up crying. I mean, it's hard.
He always contacts my mother, always lets her know where he's at all the time. He might leave for a day and come back home. He knows he has to go to school.
Runaway County family is desperate to find their 13-year-old son, Johnny Morales, who's been missing since the day after Christmas. Family members say they think someone they know might be hiding something.
They're pointing to an 18-year-old friend who they claim is a bad influence. Johnny's mother, Melissa, says that the 18-year-old contacted her to say that Johnny was here, but he's gone now, and he left his phone behind.
We want to bring in our chief legal correspondent, Khalif Rhodes, to break this down for us. Khalif, not saying that the 18-year-old is guilty of anything. I'm looking kind of more broadly. If you have a minor who has been reported missing, could you face charges if you don't report seeing that minor or if you help them in any way to not go back to their family?
The first portion about reporting them if you see them, no, there's nothing that could be brought against you for that. But the second portion in terms of not bringing them back, that could potentially be contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I think that would be the only charge. That person's an adult, this kid's a minor. You're stopping them from being where they're supposed to be, which is at their home. If you're keeping them there or assisting them in not going there, that would probably be the only way that I could see that 18-year-old bad person getting a charge. But then you'd have to look at the history. And when you talk about what the parents or the family has said so far, they talk about he's consistently went to that house a number of times in the past. So they have a history of allowing and authorizing him to be there. But now when he's missing, that kind of, I will say, makes the story a little bit harder. But I think even charging him with the second portion, not assisting him in getting back to the house, really would be a hard stretch for law enforcement to be able to charge him with.
Khalif, there's nothing in the story that points to abduction, but when it comes to investigation, I guess legally speaking, what do you look at when you're looking at like a runaway versus like an abduction?
I think that's a great question. I mean, first of all, when I look at these type of cases with discovery, when they dump it on me, most of it is going to be something connected to a phone. It's your data. It's if they're saying there's a phone and the phone was at this individual's house, the phone isn't going to lie. It's going to show you things. A lot of people may lie, but that data will be there, even if you delete it. Unless you completely destroy your phone, most of the time with these programs they use, they can get whatever deleted was in there. But even the text message or the search history, that could be helpful. But the pinging off of other towers, that's awful helpful. And it allows them to paint a picture. And so when I get sometimes with my homicide cases, they'll draw a map and they'll show us every location the client has been for the last, 24 hours. And so if they're saying they were on the west side of town, but your phone shows you on South Boulevard, okay, we've got issues right there. So the data will show you and it will help the investigation, but also will help the conviction.
Also, and speaking of that phone, this 18-year-old that the families talked about said he was here, he left, and he left his phone behind. And they claim in reporter David Schumann's piece that investigators didn't come and collect that phone until just a couple days ago or very recently, but he's been missing since after Christmas. My question is, in this day and age, is there a reason why there may have been that delay when phone data is so crucial? 100%
frustration on the family's part. You can tell from them that they were anticipating that the folks would have came, law enforcement would have came and got the phone earlier. But it's no telling why they didn't respond in terms of law enforcement to get it faster. I think it's back to Jason's point. You're balancing, is this a runaway versus is this someone that has been, harmed or abducted? Is this a voluntarily leaving or is this involuntarily left? And they, based on their experience, based on their expertise, based on how long they've been doing this, they'll be able to make that determination and say, okay, we're still looking at this as someone that has ran away as opposed to someone that was taken. And you would point to only his family's words. They've said it a number of times. He has a pattern of running away in that he would historically let us know. And so those are red flags for an investigator saying, not that they're not going to put full effort into it, but they're going to have to base this off of, is it a runaway versus is it voluntarily? Now, what I can also say is you're also looking at what's happening right next door, right there in Iredell County. They had the exact same situation, looking for a kid. They end up finding him. And what was he doing? He was evading police, hiding in the woods, not trying to be found. And so that's a clear-cut example right next to each other, counties where you have a kid that's looking for versus a kid that doesn't want to be found.
Khalif, when you talk about juvenile rights, can a juvenile just flee home unless there's something that at home where they're in danger? Do you have the right to just flee home and evade police?
You do not. You do have a right to flee home, but then there's consequences, and I don't like to make light of it. But yeah, I mean, they can take you out of the home if the home is unsafe. They can take you out of the home if you are not following the parental advisement, and they can put you in a juvenile custody order. That happens a lot, significantly, where kids are, habitually running away. Then now the law enforcement officer will go to a judicial official and ask for a secure custody order to keep that kid in custody, because if we send him back, he will be out there either a danger to himself or a danger to other, and he's not following the rules that are put in place in the parental environment. And so there are a number of ways that this can be, things can be put in place by the court. But yeah, this is unfortunate. Hopefully, this is a scenario where this is a kid that just doesn't want to be found, and that's what we're hoping that it works out like.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.